Set. Yes, yes! That was it. That took 20 minutes of loading to get to that point, and that was the point we wanted. So we had it on the back pushing down, now we're gonna have it pulling. All right, so we're gonna have those same weights, and I just like to balance them left to right a little bit. Again, it's distal. We've got the majority or the belly of the weight, and that's why that design has that design based on muscle, is that you have a heavy and a light zone. Same thing here, and we're gonna continue on 1 or 2 more sets to get that real low drag feeling. And I think what we'll do after that is we're gonna open it up and see how it affects what she's able to control on her own. As I'd mentioned, we've changed from an assistive loading pattern on the back that kind of assists the leg coming up, makes her aware of the problem. It actually makes the problem a little worse, or sorry, better, and so she has to be conscious of correcting it. Now we've got it resisted. So that load there is really gonna be, it's a challenge to lift that weight right now. Let's see how it works. We stay with 400 grams, 200 loads, and we're now doing our 5th set. Regardless, the weight is doing something, but the athlete has to stay connected. You can feel those loads. You feel exactly what they're doing. Okay, set. That was terrible. Her legs just popped straight up. She's responding to the load. Let's see what we do on the second one. Yeah, not at all. What happened? Those legs look like they came straight up. Yeah. Okay, the second trial. That was better. We're gonna do a third. Okay, so now again, this is very common, right? You don't just put a weight on somebody, adjust highly technical movements and it all gets better. It's trial, it takes a few. First one we saw when we put on the resistive loading, we saw the legs kick up. They were responding to the weight. Second one, she settled. And all of a sudden, again, like we saw with the assistive load, all of a sudden the legs came nice and low. And you came back and you said that was perfect or better. Okay, so let's do one more like this, and then we're gonna take that load off and start looking at how she's adjusting without load and the technique. So like I said, it's offering an experiential process, and our YouTube videos and our app carries all the guidelines on how to experiment. We call this loading the problem, and knowing how to load the problem, where to put weight, how much, how to work on it. It's all based on movement quality and speed. But ultimately, we're going to be using a feeling as well. And my feeling tells me after the first session, we loaded on the back, loaded on the front, we're seeing positive change. I want to make the problem a little bit worse. So we're going to add another 200 grams. Okay, now we've also loaded this progressively. Remember, we're not putting kilos on here. You never load more or increase more than about 200 to 400 grams. That's max. Don't go to 600 grams or 1,000 grams, a kilo or 2 or 3 kilos. That's too heavy, not for high-speed motions, right? Now she's well warmed up, she's strong, she's got the muscle mass we need. We've been progressing this slowly. So again, remember, safety first, protect them. She's responded well without issue. So we're confident another 200 grams is she can handle, and we're not going any heavier than that. Now the weight is pushing her down, 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 down. It's starting to have the effect. So the very first thing I can see is, because she's a little bit resistant and this problem is quite strong, we need to work probably in that 400 to 600 gram range with her. And over time, what we'll start to see is her improvement, her awareness improving, but also her ability to hold that leg down while she drops. Set. Yes, yes, that was it. That took 20 minutes of loading to get to that point, and that was the point we wanted. And if you know anything about sprinting, she did everything right and she hated it. So she stopped. She felt like, oh, it was wrong. But that was the first rep where she either had a choice to fall or slow down. And she chose to slow down because she put her legs in the right position. You felt that? And so oftentimes in coaching and sporting, when someone does something bad, we think, oh, that was a failure. But actually, no. Her trying to correct that is not the failure. That was the first set where we broke her and got her away from the bad movement pattern. So that's awesome. Okay, so we just finished the set we were looking for in the session. You came out, you looked at the video, the foot was low.
Okay.
Why did you stop?
Because I thought I was doing wrong.
Explain that. You thought you were doing wrong.
So I thought, am I doing right or doing wrong? So that's how I stopped.
Yeah, now that's exactly, coaches, you know exactly what we mean. This is a coaching moment. This is, a coach's job is to impart change. So if we came out and did the same thing you're comfortable with, then we're not going to get to that change. And what I did, and what you have in a powerful tool, is a way to empower a coach or an S&C to get into technical issues and break the athlete down to the point that they turn around and say, oh, I think that was wrong. No, that was the one that was right. And generally, right at the start looks wrong because your body's not comfortable. All of a sudden the feet are low. You don't even know where your body position should be. And so once we get that problem worked on, then we can start recorrecting the other aspects of the training. So when an athlete says, oh, I thought that was wrong, beware, because that's oftentimes the most right. So what we're going to do now, and this is another important part, you hear this on my YouTube channel and on our app, all the videos and programs there, always finish light. She's been doing about 20-30 minutes of loading. That's enough for a session. This is a technical session. That's what we call it, technical conditioning. She's working hard, but we don't want to overdo it. And so finishing light just means she has to reconnect to her feeling. She has to reconnect to her mechanics without a load or anything else assisting or resisting her. She's not allowed to wear that in competition. And so we can't have it on her all the time. In general, we load about 60 to 80% of the session. And we always do the first set, no load, and the last 1 or 2 sets, no load. She comes out of the block. I'm gonna get her to actually strip down, take these off, and we're gonna see that reconnection happening in real time. Okay, so let's do that. Let's take them right off. What we finished with now is we're about to do our last session unloaded, like I said. We'll get her in the blocks. We've taken the Exogen off, take the sleeves off, take everything off, let it feel light. Let's jump in there. And the only thing I want you to do, start. Remember that feeling you just had low? Don't go backwards. It doesn't matter if you slow down. And set. She did it. She kept her feet low. It's in there already. Now the number one thing you're gonna see, she'll come back here tomorrow and it'll all be gone. I promise you it'll all be gone. But we can see in a 20 to 30 minute block of time, we were able to already jump into correct and break her pattern, one that she's been trying to correct for years. Coaches, think about that. And it's because we have a tool now that we can put into their sport and the technical movements that we didn't have before. You can have your hand on them while they're training, and it has a dramatic effect. But I can tell you, we haven't corrected the problem. Today, all we've done is made her aware and got her into a point where she's starting to get a new experience towards what she wants and what we want. But ultimately, you need a training block. We have to work at this now on a program for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Minimum 2 to 3 doses a week, 20, 30 minutes, just like you saw, loading, unloading, getting her to work that so the muscles actually get conditioned. After 4 weeks, you take a 5th week where they unload, and then you start letting her reconnect. And generally, we see that problem going away in about a 4-week block.
Feel light and fast.
What did you tell me? Why was it amazing? It was light?
It was light, fast, and speed, and really quick and low.
Last question for you is, we went through this loading. We had to break you. We had to get that stubborn brain to get away from those motions. Could you feel that happen?
Yes. Try to really focus on my technique, really focus on my lower push. So, need more practice, but I believe this really will make me fastest. Block start is not only about speed, power, explosive. It's very technical. You know, sprinter need to understand that technical is very important. The right technique will give you good time, perfect time.
Yeah, speed is technique.
Yes, speed is technique.
Well, that's a wrap for us today. What we looked at, and first want to thank Komalam for being here. But most importantly, what we were able to do today is we were able to start working on an issue that she needs help on, and I think most sprinters around the world. I have to do a shout out to Dennis Mitchell because he's obviously my guru, and I wear his coaching hat with pride. And so coaches, if you're listening to this, I want you to think about that. Using the tool to enhance your coaching, S&Cs, It's a communication tool to get at the real issues in movement that sometimes we can't solve with traditional resistance. And we saw here in 20-30 minutes, we were able to attack a problem, low drive in the right knee to ankle, one that athletes struggle with for years. In 20 to 30 minutes, we were able to get past it, make her aware of it, start correcting it, and ultimately already see a change in the way she's moving. That's something that takes generally a long time. So have a think, reach out, make sure to subscribe, check out the Lila app as well. And if you have questions, put them down below. We'd be happy to answer them. And again, for coaches, please don't beat us up on what you saw technical-wise. We'll leave that to you. Think about the product and how it might help and support what your athletes are doing. Thanks, everybody. Let's keep moving forward.